Hello viewers, welcome back to our next section of this course, Deployment. In this section we will cover various tips, as mentioned here, that are especially useful during application deployment. These tips will also come in handy when developing an application in a team, or when you just want to make your development environment more comfortable. Let's move on to the first video of this section, changing the Yii directory layout. In this video, we are going to see how to change the layout of your Yii directory. By default, we have the Basic and Advanced Yii2 application skeletons with different directory structures, but these structures are not dogmatic, and we can customize them if required. For example, we can move the Runtime directory out of the project, create a new Yii2 app basic application by using the Composer package manager as described in the official guide at this link. First, let us look at changing the location of the Runtime directory. Open config/web.php and define the runtime path parameter using these lines of code. Do the same for config/console.php files. Move the runtime directory to the new location. Next, we will look at changing the location of the vendor directory. Open config/web.php and define the vendor path parameter using these lines of code. Do the same for the config/console.php file. Move the vendor directory with the composer.json and composer.lock files to the new location. Open the web/index.php and Yii files and find these rows. Change the including paths. Next, we will move on to changing the location of the controllers. Rename the commands directory to console. Change the namespace of app/commands/hello-controller to app/console/hello-controller. Open config/console.php and redefine the controller namespace parameter using these lines of code. Finally, we will see how to change the locations of the views directory. Open config/web.php and define view path parameter as this highlighted one. Rename your views directory. In the terminal, type this command to rename the directory to my views. In the Yii/base/application : pre-init method, our application defines base path, runtime path, and vendor path parameters. By default, these values lead to the root application directory, runtime, and vendor path in the root respectively. For example, you can redefine vendor path if you want to share the vendor directory with some instances of the same projects, but take care of the package's version's compatibility. The Yii/base/application class extends Yii/base/module, which contains the controller namespace and view path parameters. The first one allows you to change the base namespace of the application and modules. It is helpful if you want to provide front-end and back-end controllers in the same module directory. Just change the controllers directory to front-end and back-end, or create subdirectories and configure your front-end and back-end applications as this. In order to learn more about application structures, refer to this link. In this video, we have learned how to change the Yii directory layout.